Mr. President.
The senator from New Jersey.
Mr. President, I rise today as we debate funding for the Department of Homeland Security. It's a debate that 100 Americans allowed into this chamber will have a chance to do. But that really is being had by millions of Americans across the country, in their living rooms, in their group chats, in the comments on social media. There are a lot of things that we debate here that fly under the radar, that maybe impact a lot of people but aren't on their minds. This, Mr. President, is on everyone's mind. Whether we write another check to fund the Department of Homeland Security isn't just front-page news, it is the thing that people who haven't picked up a newspaper in years are talking about. Why is that? It's because people can feel that something is wrong in this country, and they know it has to be stopped. People can watch the video of the murders of Renee Good and Alex Pretty at the hands of federal agents and see that something is wrong, and it isn't over. They can watch these videos of masked men roaming through neighborhoods or physically assaulting people, peacefully protesting, and see that something is wrong. And they're absolutely right in that feeling. How can you watch any of that and not see that it's wrong? I hear from people that I know, some friends of mine, that are telling me they're now carrying their passports around with them because they're afraid of getting stopped and targeted by federal agents. I've heard from constituents who are anxious, who don't feel safe leaving the house, are afraid about door knocks at their house, and are just afraid that this moment of fear will never end. The tragic irony of this is that we are nearly 25 years in from the establishment of the Department of Homeland Security. 25 years from another moment where people felt an incredible level of anxiety and unease. I was in college when 9/11 happened. It was a moment that led me towards public service. It was a crisis that brought me into a career in national security, working to keep our country safe. And one of the things I've learned is that safety isn't our ability to project force or the tools we have at our disposal. Those things can make us safe. But if they're used improperly, they can make us less safe, less secure. And that's exactly what we're seeing from this administration. It's what Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem are doing every day. They are using the tools that were meant to keep us safe and distorting them to grow their own power and fuel their own corruption. What we're debating here today is whether we should continue to fund their efforts to use these tools against the American people and for their own twisted agenda. And to that, there's a simple answer. We must say and vote no. We need to vote no on funding DHS as this bill currently stands because it's not going to make us more safe and secure. Everyone in America who has been carrying this feeling around with them for the past few days and weeks knows that. They know that they've been lied to by this administration. They know that the masked men flooding into our communities are not accountable to them. They know people like Stephen Miller, who I've often called and said that he is the most dangerous person in our country, is not accountable to them. And the American people are tired of it. They're tired of the lies. They see right through them. They're tired of feeling like they have no say in this horrible feeling of insecurity and uncertainty. How is it that in the richest, most powerful country in the world that we have this much unpredictability, this much anxiety that hangs over us? But that can end today. That can end right here. Because even though the millions and millions of people struggling to make sense of this moment aren't able to get into this chamber and have a vote, there are 100 of us who do, and who represent all the other Americans in this nation. There are things that this administration can do today to restore that sense of safety and security. For instance, they can pull ICE and CBP agents out of their operations in Minnesota, in Maine, de-escalate the fear that American communities are facing. The provocations are dangerous right now, and the concern of powder kegs of what's going to happen next. It is not that we see this in the rearview mirror with the murder and the killings of Alex Pretty and Renee Good. People are wondering, is this just the beginning? Is this going to continue, and for how long? Is it going to get worse? That is the fear that people are feeling, something that this administration can immediately bring down if they pull these agents out. This administration can also allow and clearly articulate the need for an independent investigation. Investigations into the murder of Renee Good, into Alex Pretty. Actually, in terms of all the 12 of the shootings that DHS agents since September of last year have conducted, that deserves the same level of transparency and accountability. And the reason why we need this is because there is no trust right now. There is no trust right now from the American people into having DHS or this administration as a whole investigate themselves. It is antithetical to our understanding of transparency and accountability if that is the case. So we demand true independent investigations. And this administration could fire their leaders who have clearly zero credibility with the American people right now. Stephen Miller, Tom Homan, Secretary Noem, and others who have purposefully weaponized our government for their own political agendas. The American people demand accountability. And forward movement as a nation in these troubled times cannot happen with these administrative officials still in power, still in their jobs. There are many other things we need to think through, but these are three things that can happen right now by this administration to show that we can try to turn a corner on this incredibly chaotic and dangerous moment for our country. But even if that all happens, we owe it to the American people to take a stand. We owe it to them to give them the security they deserve. And we owe it to them to vote no on this appropriations bill. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield back.